Try something good.
Alrighty, y'all.
Well,
Welcome
it's all
back.
okay, well.
It's all good. Don't worry. Alrighty,
I know
y'all.
you're not editing it out either.
Nah, we're good. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the sit down. This is now episode 15.2. I'm here with my good friend, my brother, Billy. And as promised, we're gonna really kind of talk about our hometown, where we came from. So Billy, can you give me, in 3 words, describe Pomfret, Connecticut for us? And then I'll give you 3 words from me.
4. Give me 4.
Okay, 4, sure.
More cows than people.
Nice, very good, very good. I would say, for me, quiet, manure, and quiet. No, I'll change the last one, the cows. But yeah, guys, we come from, the last time I checked, our population is floating right around 4,000 people. We're in a very small, very tiny town. Like for me, I went to PCS and then I went to Rectory and then I went to Pomfret for my educational career, I guess, there. And all of those schools were within a mile of my house. So from age, pretty much as long as I can remember, from age 5 to 19, I was able to live pretty much my entire life within a 1 mile radius of my house.
At least within 5.
At least within 5.
Putnam's right there, and that's got your grocery store.
Yep.
Your Walmart, your GameStop, whatever else you need.
This is how small our town was. We don't even have a grocery store in our town.
No.
We have one coffee shop. Shout out to Vanilla Bean. That was one of the first places in the country that actually released vanilla Coke.
First place.
That was first place
#1
in the country to actually release vanilla Coke, and I got it first before all of you. So hold that. We have.
I don't like vanilla Coke.
Oh, I'm a big fan. We have one liquor store, of course.
Yeah.
One gas station, and we had we had 2 coffee shops. We also had what was that coffee shop down the street by PCS? Baker's Dozen.
Yeah.
And then we had one little pizza place, Pizza 101, Pizza 109. Don't go.
I like it.
It is not good.
I get it all the time.
But Billy, for you, what was it like for you kind of growing up in Pomfret? Because I feel like a lot of what our feelings are going to be similar. Mm-hmm. But what was it like for you, growing up in Pomfret?
So as far as where we grew up, I think it probably was like one of the best places you could grow up as a kid.
Agreed.
So we lived in a cul-de-sac.
Mm-hmm.
So it was us 2, and then 4 more houses. So 6 houses in a circle.
Yep.
And the whole neighborhood's like that. So it's a big long road and just cul-de-sacs all the way down it. So for us growing up, I have a younger brother who's 2 years younger than me. And there was Nick, who's one of our neighbors.
And Thomas.
So Nick was my brother Daniel's age. Thomas is much younger. Thomas is still like 7 in my head.
Yeah, me too.
He did just graduate high school. I love Thomas. But so it'd be us, and then me and Colin, obviously. So we would play, we'd go out every single day outside, play every single sport known to man.
Yep.
Baseball, basketball, football, every day.
Play hockey during the wintertime. We would crush soda cans.
Yeah, listen to
this.
We would play. All right, so we would crush soda cans, right? Him, Dylan, his friend Dylan, our friend Dylan, and myself. We'd go and play hockey with crushed soda can. Colin only had 2 hockey sticks. So him and Dylan were older, so they got the hockey sticks, and I got stuck with the lacrosse stick. And they're like, Billy, you go play goalie while we play this. So I'm sitting in goal, little Billy here. I weighed all of 47 pounds in the goal with the lacrosse stick, trying to make do.
Just getting lasered.
And they're just ripping
soda cans.
razor sharp soda cans at me. I literally just head to toe covered in cuts and scrapes, and just this soda can melting me.
Do you remember so we had to get creative, right? Because like Billy had said, every single day we were playing a sport. So we would run a full World Series. So we do 7 games of World Series in a day. We would do cops and robbers. We would ride our bikes throughout the neighborhood for like 6 hours.
Yep.
We would literally get up at sunrise. We would all meet in the cul-de-sac. We would hang out pretty much all day. He would go eat lunch. I would eat ice cubes. Then we'd come back outside. He would go have dinner. I would eat some more ice cubes. And then we would be playing till dark. And then he would sleep over sometimes. He got homesick one time. You could literally see his room from my room, but he still got homesick one time.
Amen.
He was crying too. It was crazy.
Happens. That's
But one thing we did was, do you remember we played lacrosse basketball? We had plastic lacrosse sticks, a golf ball, and a basketball hoop. So we were cradling a golf ball with the cross sticks and we were dunking it in the hoop. And that game ended when I snapped one of the sticks over Dylan's wrist at full speed. Just snapped it in half.
Never seen anything like it. It was unbelievable.
It's crazy. and the thing that was crazy is I always had the tendency. I broke everything.
Yeah.
I always broke every. I don't know if it was like happen chance or if that was just the way it was. There was a time where
baseball bats.
Everything, baseball bats. Remember that time I broke that baseball bat? The top of the bat came and hit you.
It was a fake 2-piece bat, and I'm pitching. He hits it back at me. The ball hits me in this shoulder, and then the other half of the bat comes and hits me in this shoulder. I'm just like on the ground. He's still rounding the bases.
Come on now, we gotta score that. We gotta score, man. But it was honestly, on a serious note, I would say, we got blessed beyond belief to grow up in that kind of environment because I think. You hear it a lot now, and you would even hear it, people talking about our generation, kids, these, this
Never
generation, they don't go outside, right? And they're partially talking to me, like, I didn't do it. I'm like, no, you're sadly mistaken.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. And the lifelong friendships we established too, like this, I'm able to come down to Florida at 24 years old and visit my best friend from when I was 3 years old, you know? It's like, these sort of situations, and like stay here all week and we just, goof off, and it's like the same, it's like we never left, that sort of thing where that's a blessing.
It is.
Absolutely a blessing.
And I don't think, I think that's kind of a dying thing now, unfortunately, and a lot of it I think was just circumstance, and we got really lucky, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like anybody planned for that to happen. It was just the right place at the right time.
Exactly. But
I also say, it definitely took legwork from us too, because there was, obviously we fought. We didn't always get along.
Absolutely.
But it was one of those things, we always kind of knew, what we wanted to do, right? So it was cool, and you're so true. It's so, true. My relationship with you, Daniel, Catherine, Nick, your mom, your dad, your relationship with my mom, my dad, my brother, right? Those are relationships, it's like we were all just one big family in a sense. That's really what it felt like.
Yep.
And, it's, I still remember, being on the trampoline, and like listening to Channel Orange, like.
Seeing UFOs.
You seeing UFO, we'll get into that in a second. But, just stuff like that and just having just deep conversations, it's just, it's small stuff like that, right? And that's why I'm such a firm believer in, in taking advantage of the opportunities, taking advantage of the moments, right? Because there's no guarantee that this situation might ever happen again.
It's like that situation where you hear it all the time, like, oh, you went outside and played baseball with your friends for the last time, you didn't even realize it. And it's like, that's true, it happened. It like, looking back on it, it's like, damn, that really happened.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because it's one of those things you never see a good thing ending one day, but it has to get to a better thing, right? So it's this very weird dynamic, right? Mm-hmm. But Billy, for you, because you kind of had a different sort of life than I did in terms of Pomfret, because you went to St. Mary's, right?
Yeah.
So you traveled a little bit further. You were more in Putnam, right? And then going to Woodstock.
Yeah.
Even into a neighboring town, right? For me, I kind of had a little bit of a different sort of setting than you did, even though we lived right next door, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like explain that a little bit. What was it like, kind of having to take those trips into different towns? Do you feel like that sort of changed something for you at all?
Yeah. So growing up, I went to St. Mary's, which is like a small Catholic school in Putnam, Connecticut. Again, only 5 minutes up the road. No big, not like taxing travel or anything. But it was definitely different because I'm not saying the public PCS is big or anything, but I had 14 kids in my graduating class when I was in 8th grade. Class president. Unanimous class president.
A lot of competition.
A lot of competition. The kid who ran against me voted for me, not even himself. So, so again, 14 kids, and a lot of them are still some of my closest friends to this day. And so that aspect of it was great because I built a lot of tight-knit relationships.
Sure.
But I was definitely, and still am definitely, on the shyer side, I think, because of that. Because it's like I was so comfortable with the people I was with, I didn't really know how to branch out and meet new people. And I'm still not, I'm very much an introvert. I like staying in my house, doing my own thing, not going out and meeting people. Ask him, he's like, he'll tell you, I I'm just pretty quiet. I won't talk sometimes. Like, it's funny.
Hey,
But that's just me. And luckily, sports was the big thing. Like town sports. Those were the big things where I got to get out and meet people who
Definitely.
outside of that little bubble that I had. And then going to Woodstock was like complete culture shock to me because
how was that transition?
that was shocking, absolutely shocking. Like you walk in on the first day, and I had 3 girls in my grade at St. Mary's. 3 girls. I walk into Woodstock that first day, and I didn't even know what to do. I was lost. But yeah, I mean, just so many, and I knew a lot of the people from playing sports with them and things like that. But still, just like going out to football practice that first day and having to meet so many new people, like walking around the halls, and there's like kids much older than me, much younger than me, not having to wear a dress code anymore, like because I had a uniform at St. Mary's, and now it's just like public school at Woodstock, wear whatever you want. Like,
Right.
There's a lot that was just like culture shock, and it took a little bit of adjusting to get used to, but again, probably a good thing for me because it helped me step out of my bubble a little bit.
Definitely. And it's so funny too, you know, because it's so interesting to kind of compare and contrast, you know, our lives, Billy, because it's like, it's hard to fathom that people that were so tight knit and literally live a stone's throw away from one another can kind of lead such different lives. You know,
Absolutely.
For me, I went the polar opposite direction, right? My public middle school was a mile away from my house, right? I had a lot more kids in my class than you did, right? We grew up very differently in that sense. And then me transitioning over to Rectory, going this whole private route, right?
Yep.
Private middle school, and now I'm meeting, you know, kids from Mexico, Korea, Japan, China, Ireland, you know, Mexico, Guatemala, you know, Argentina, all these different places. It's like, you know, we just we got exposed to very different things, right? And me
Absolutely.
having to wear a dress code from 5th grade all the way to when I graduated high school,
Yeah.
right? So we,
Much looser now that you're
Is
not.
it? Yeah.
Much looser. They're pretty.
listen, I was always finessing that, bro. You just put a scarf on there in no time. Come on, dog. Put a big jacket on. I don't even have a button-down shirt. I have a big shirt on like this, a scarf and a jacket. We're good. Just wear some slacks and some shoes. You're all right. And I'll just wear Tim's. I don't even wear shoes. I'm good. Tim's in the spring too. Tim's all year round. But it's so funny, you know, when you kind of look back and kind of compare and contrast. It's for it being such a small town. It kind of contradicts what I think about the town, right? Because you've heard what I've said about it, right? It's like Pomfret is the kind of place where the people, because I would say probably 100% of the people who watch this won't know what Pomfret is outside of our immediate family and friends. Pomfret's the kind of town where, you know, if you're born in Pomfret, the likelihood is that you're gonna die in Pomfret.
Oh, wow.
You know, there's a lot of people that I know who I met when I was 10, who I can meet now when they're 30, and they'll still be the same exact person that they were when they're 10. You know, I think for me at least, I don't feel as though Pomfret promotes a lot of growth in an individual because it's so small, right? There's just no opportunity. There's no opportunity. And the way I kind of felt was that, you know, if you don't work in a factory, if you don't work in the schooling system, or you don't work in retail, you're not working, period.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's funny. I look at my dad, works at Pomfret. I look at you work at Pomfret. I look at Felicia, she works at Rectory. I look at my brother, he works in manufacturing. I look at Deanna, my dad's wife. She works in schooling.
Yep.
Right? I look at your mom, she works in retail. I look at your dad, he worked at Woodstock.
Yep.
I look at Daniel, he works in manual labor, manufacturing stuff, painting, right? It's just like, it's not a coincidence. You know, you just look around and pretty much it all falls in line with what I guess the standard is, or maybe the trend is. And that was so funny because we're gonna talk about culture shock. And when I had left Pomfret to come down here,
Yeah.
you wanna talk about culture shock?
Absolutely.
Guys, we literally, down here in Florida, back roads are 3 to 4 lanes. Up in Connecticut, our main major highway of travel was
It's
2 lanes. Only. Sometimes it branched to 3, but that usually was just the exit lane to the right.
Yep.
2-lane highway, that's all we had. Everything else was 1 lane, both ways. I never drove over 60 miles an hour unless I was on the highway. Ever. Ever. Down here, I'm driving 55 miles an hour on a back road, and that's the speed limit.
Yep.
You know, it was so different. But I think for me, right, it was one of those things, and this is why I'm so proud of you, Billy, and I'm proud of, you know, your whole family. It's, you know, you guys were able to kind of take an opportunity that might not have been advantageous to growth and make growth happen in a place that it wouldn't have happened otherwise, right? Because, I mean, we talked about this off camera. You know, if I were to compare you to some of your friends, you know, I don't think it's a coincidence that you're an outlier in terms of where you're at compared to others. Mm-hmm. Right? It's just one of those things that's just what the culture is where we're from.
Yeah, and I think that started with knowing I wanted to do something different from a young age, but also not accepting that I wanted to do what everyone else did.
Right.
Because I worked at Price Chopper, the grocery store up north, the end of my existence. Good 4 years there. And I worked there, and that experience actually, because like there were times when I was in school and in college where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I hate school. I do not like learning. It's funny that I work in a school because I despise it. But I don't. I love, and I misspoke there. I love learning. I love learning new things, and I love learning about a lot of things that I love to learn about. But I don't like schooling. I don't like homework. I don't like that sort of stuff. So, for me, like there were times where I was like, I really don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to go to school. Like I don't want to keep up on this. There's, you know, other things going on that had me down, and I was just like, I don't know what to do right now. But then I'd go to work at like Price Chopper, for example, be like, I cannot do this. I cannot do this anymore. Like the things, whatever happened there was way worse than anything else.
Right.
I was like, I can't do this. I gotta stick with the on the path here.
And that's kind of what's so funny too, because let me clarify, right? All of those fields that I specified are very important. So please,
Absolutely.
if anybody thinks that I'm talking down on that stuff, please don't, because that's not true.
No, absolutely.
Some of the best people I know in life are in those realms of